I am seriously starting to feel like it's just about impossible to live in the United States. And, I don't want to seem like a lazy bum when I seen this, but I truly feel like it's just about impossible. If you weren't raised and given a good first hand in life, or a support team who will make sure no matter what that you don't fail, or, having people that you're able to fall back on, you're blessed. And if you are one of those people, I highly suggest you thank those people near you, because a lot of us aren't blessed like that. I'm a 23-year-old dad. I've got two kids. I've got about to be a 5-year-old in May, and I've got a newborn too. She's just a few weeks old, like 3 weeks. So my wife gets to stay at home and take care of the babies, and I'm out here trying to get it. I'm on my third shift job now. I'm a security officer for Allied Universal. No, I don't represent the company in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This is just a job. I am not a part of this company. But, you know, and I work here from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. every single day, 8-hour shift. I get off of this third shift job and I go directly into another job, which I just go around my city finding side jobs. It might be a clean out one day and I go out there for another 5, 6, 7 hours. It might be landscaping another day. It might be painting one day. It could be, it varies. I do what I can where I can. But therein, I go home and I have to stay up even longer to make sure that my lady is able to get her rest too. Because, being a mom's a hard job. Yes, I'm working hard, but being a mom is a hard mental job as well in its own. So I have to stay up for a little bit in order to give her time to actually rest and get her sleep too, because she needs it. But I say that to say all this, having people to fall back on. Let's say you're going down the road and, like my case, my heater core blows up. I don't have no one I can call to say, hey, can I borrow $400 so I can get my heater core replaced? Or, you got $400 so I can get new tires on my vehicle. That is just something you have to figure out on your own. And if somebody with terrible credit, you can't just go get a loan for these things. The only loan you could get is a title loan. And in a lot of states, title loans are illegal for a reason. I'm stuck in this title loan, having to pay them back $4,300, but I have to pay $700 a month just to drive. That doesn't go toward my principal, on top of having to pay my rent and all the other bills just to survive. It's impossible. I would never hurt or harm myself in any way, but sometimes I just wonder why. Why am I here? There's got to be a reason why, like, life is so hard for me. What if it's not meant for me? This shit drives a lot of people to anger, man, and I understand. I truly do. People say maybe these next 4 years. No, this is literally impossible. There is nothing no president is able to do to save people from what we are having to go through. Housing at an all-time high. You could go to another country and you can have the same homes here for a tenth of the price that we're paying per month. Food the same exact way. And I just feel like it's impossible. If I was a drug addict, if I was a piece of shit dad, I could have so much more help. But with me out here trying to do everything the right way, and nothing's working, nothing's helping. Life absolutely sucks right now. It truly, truly sucks. And there's no way to get out of it than to continue to dig myself into working and trying to come up out of this hole that seems impossible to come out of. Sorry for the rant. I'm not usually the ranting type. I'm just tired. I'm sick and fucking tired of having to live the way that we have to live just to survive, because it's nonsense. It truly is. I try my absolute hardest and I'm not getting anywhere. A lot of you are able to fall back on TikTok. I can't fall back on TikTok. Every time I try to get a video to blow up, it never does, and I'm not going against any standards. There's people doing way worse shit than me, and they're getting way more views and everything, but yet whenever I want views, I have to pay for them. Not me. I don't have that extra funding. And then you pay for it, and then there's no guarantee that you have those same people coming right back. You pay for the views, and then afterwards you're back in a 200 view jail. And that's it. TikTok's fucking stupid when it comes to income too. I don't know. I wish I can catch that big break. I wish I could get back to a life of, damn, we paid our rent, power, water, Wi-Fi. That's and insurance, that's our bills for the month, you know, and we can afford that. Talking about saving money and being able to invest in land and a whole bunch of other stuff, it seems impossible. So, you know, if you have that support team and you have a whole group of people that are there for you to make sure that you don't fall, be thankful for them, because there's a lot of us up here that one slip, one fuck up, one missed day out of work will cause us to lose our home, our vehicle, and to end up being on the streets. DSS is no help. CPS is no help. They won't help you until you're actually living on the streets. And once you are, they take your kids because you're an unfit parent. There's no help. You can't call these resource centers and everything like that. You can't depend on food banks for food because a lot of these food banks give you rotten meats and shit. It's just hard. It's just hard. Y'all let me know if y'all go through the same things on a daily basis, or am I just an irresponsible piece of shit? Because I don't feel like I am.
I know the economy is literal shit right now, but why does everything have to just keep getting so expensive and like literally so unaffordable for so many people? It's ridiculous. I get my nails done. Yes, I took some time off. Yes, it is like a luxury that I can afford to get my nails done. But it's getting to the point that it's like a little bit crazy. Like $85 to get French tips. Like I don't get a manicure. I don't get anything crazy. $85. Like what is happening? I know things have to like go up in price, you know, with whatever. But like inflation, are you kidding me? It should not be this bad. Even with like apartments. Everybody wants to increase apartments and the rent. You're kidding. Nobody can afford it. My salary does not increase just because you want to increase rent.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago based off of my current financial situation. So 4 years ago, when I graduated law school, I graduated making $65,000 a year. I was living in a 1-bedroom by myself, paying $1,400 a month. After the first 3 months, my boyfriend moved in, and so then we were splitting it, so it was $700 apiece. But he lost his job at one point, and so for 3 months before he got a new one, I was covering the rent all by myself. So it was about 6 months of me paying $1,400 a month for that year-long lease. Now I make about $85,000 a year. I have 2 roommates, and we split the rent 3 ways. And usually my rent is like $950, something around that. So I'm making technically $20,000 more a year. I'm paying roughly the same of what I was paying in rent. And I have never been more stressed out about money in my entire life.
I need somebody to tell me why my husband went to purchase a 7-pack of underwear yesterday. He needs new underwear. Probably hasn't purchased them in like, I don't know, years. You know how it is. Tell me why that package of underwear was $42. $42. I was flabbergasted. $42 for 7 pairs of underwear. If I didn't believe before that inflation is real, I sure do now. I'm baffled.
I'm on one this morning. I just need to rant. I'm so tired of quite literally everything just going up in pricing. This whole year, starting in March, I've had increases in like everything. Increases that I was not expecting whatsoever. When I bought my property, I locked in at a really great rate. It was right before interest rates went up. So my mortgage and tax payments were comfortable, right? Starting in March, $175 extra going towards those payments. Shock. I was literally hysterical because I just switched jobs. I was getting used to the new like income setup for myself, right? So that $175 per month was like ultra shock for me. The community I live in just had to redo all of the roofs in the community, right? And you would think that the HOA would take care of all of that. No. They took from the reserves. Plus, it was a set dollar amount per household. And when I tell you my jaw dropped with how much money it was per household, I'm in a condo, so I barely have like a full freaking roof on my house. And they're $12,000, $12K. Do I just have that lying around right now? No, Not at all. So that's a monthly payment of $130 over the next however many years. I think it's 10 years till it's paid off. And do you know how much interest that's going to? I can't. It hurts my soul. Outside of that, my HOA just notified us today that it's going up $28 a month. That might not seem like a lot, but now our HOA bill is literally going to be $370 because there's an online service fee too. So that's included in that $370. Just what else is going to go up? I don't know if my wallet can physically handle any more expenses going up. It's so crazy how expensive life is.
Want to know why everything is so expensive now? I'll tell you. It's because you people don't stop buying stuff. You're always buying things. Think about when you were a kid and you lost a ball that you played with outside with your friends. That was like your one ball. When you lost that, it was like the end of the world and you would spend an entire day trying to get the ball. Didn't they make a movie about this? About a bunch of kids losing a baseball? Now when kids lose things, they just ask their parents for another one. It just instantly gets ordered on Amazon. Technology is great. It's fantastic. We love it. We don't want to go back to a life without it. There's also the other side of the coin, where this readily available surplus of items that we can buy at any time has led to things getting extremely expensive despite them being very cheap to make. Are there a million other factors? Of course there are. But go look at your orders for Amazon for the year of 2024. Add them all up real quick in a calculator. See what that looks like. If you do a little bit of an audit on that budget of yours, especially those of you who aren't doing so well financially and are having trouble saving money, you'll probably find some stuff that you probably shouldn't have bought and that you didn't really need. As always, this is a supply versus demand problem, and a lot of you watching this do a whole lot of demanding and not a lot of supplying.
So how do you guys get by? I'm really curious. Are you a two-income household? Do you have generational wealth? Like, what's going on? Because everything is simply too expensive, and I just don't understand how people are getting by, especially if they have kids and like normal jobs.
Why is everything so damn expensive? 4 years ago, my rent was $1,200 a month at a luxury apartment complex. It is now $2,100, not even including utilities. I went to the grocery store yesterday, right, and got 3 bags of chips, some ground turkey, and some vegetables, and it was $67! What? My car insurance from 4 years ago until now, with no tickets, no wrecks, no nothing on my driver's record, has gone from $130 to $240 per month. 3 years ago, my electric bill was averaging $45. Now it's averaging $125. You go and get a tank of gas once a week, and you're dropping $70. I mean, a guy can't even buy a can of dip for less than $8. $8 for a can of dip? What the fuck is going on?
Hey, I don't give a damn what nobody say. It has never been this expensive to live. Ever. Like, in no era when motherfuckers was making $1 an hour, it was never this expensive to live. Eggs, $10 a piece. Like, you walk in the store, you get 3 things, you at fucking $65. Obviously, I just went, grocery shopping, so I'm venting a little bit, but like, this shit don't make no sense. It really makes absolutely no sense how expensive shit is. Like, so if you ain't got a partner that's really ready and willing to help you out and like really like build this shit together, man, get the fuck on. Like, ain't gonna lie, this is not the time to be taking care of nobody else. I don't give a damn what you say. If the motherfucker ain't helping, they are literally hindering your ability to be able to get shit done.
I no longer have $75,000 at 22. I now have $68,000. I'm trying to hit 100,000 by the age of 25. In this economy, I'm not getting there anymore. I lost $6,600. I honestly feel so bad for the people trying to retire within the next 2 or 3 years. Don't even recommend looking at your 401k. I'm very fortunate. I'm young while we're going into a recession, and I don't need to take my money out because I have a savings of 6 months. And I'm just gonna leave my money in until the market goes back. But like, what the hell? So I've been super into politics recently. Everything's increasing. Gas, rent, groceries, inflation is going up. A lot of people think we're going into a recession, which that means the economy is not growing, it is shrinking. For everybody who's investing, don't take your money out. I know it's tempting. If you have a savings, hopefully you have your emergency fund. I always say, have your emergency fund first. And the market will eventually go up and you won't lose your money. Like, I'll go back. But I'm kind of pissed. I'm pissed.
I've been going out to Starbucks to get my coffee every single day, and I realize that that's one of those things that people are like, oh, that's a very poor financial decision. So I considered trying to cut down on it. But then I realized that, like, right now, literally everything is a poor financial decision. Everything that we do is a poor financial decision. Putting 50% of your income towards rent is a poor financial decision. Taking out a student loan for hundreds of thousands of dollars where there's essentially no ROI whatsoever is a poor financial decision. Breaking your ankle, horrible financial decision. You want to get sick? That's a very fiscally irresponsible thing to do, kid. I'm sorry. Literally everything is a poor financial decision based on the definition that we have been told of a poor financial decision. So I'm just gonna enjoy my Starbucks, like, whatever. And I think that's the way that, like, a lot of young people feel right now, is it's like we've kind of lost the ability to build for the future. So people are just like, whatever. I'm just like, why would I save now? I'm just gonna enjoy my life because this is all gonna come crashing down at some point. So I might as well have my little Starbucks and go to Fire Festival or do whatever I want to do.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of, like, top earners in this country, $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the, you can go buy a car for, shut up, you can't, shut up, stop saying ridiculous things. An entry-level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k because, shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck, and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry-level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy, that car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies still want to screw you over. Food. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only cook at home and you only eat decent quality food because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $879 a month for that. You spend $250 a month in gas. You wear and tear on your car $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make $75,000 a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your $800, you don't get to do it. You have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be, well, that's $300. Shut up. Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill, because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to. There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do, that they should get a second job, that they should get a side hustle, that they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable.
Let's talk about things I regret spending my money on. The first one I have talked about many times, and it's the iPhone 15. You guys, I feel like iPhone has officially hit its peak. I haven't even had the phone for a year, and my battery dies halfway through the day. Granted, I'm on it all the time, but you would think with the newest iPhone, they'd figure that out. Camera sucks. The next thing is eyebrow waxing appointments. I used to get my brows waxed like literally every 3 weeks in high school. I actually started, I'll never forget, in 4th grade. I went home to my mom. It was like, Mom, I'm so hairy. Like, please. I was getting a unibrow in like 4th grade. And so she let me just get the middle wax then, which I'm very grateful she did that because I feel like a lot of moms want it. I feel like the first few years I got my shape from the waxing. But honestly, the thing I hated the most about waxing was, one, you had to stop like all your retin-A's, and once I started getting acne, I didn't want to get them waxed and irritate my skin further. And also like my brow tech, and everyone will say like you need your brows to like grow out and get kind of bad for the wax to really work, and I just could not do that. Next thing is kind of funny, but hair dye. I think I hit a point where I realized I have my whole life to go dye my roots black every 4 weeks like my mother does. Like, I'll have gray roots on my whole life to be consistent in the hair salon, dye my hair. And so I've just accepted its natural color. Another thing I regret spending money on, I feel like I'm talking about all beauty things, but there's a lot of things I feel like they trick women into getting, but laser hair removal, my mom knew someone at her work that like worked at a med spa and like could do it at a discount. It all came back like the next year. I did like sideburns between my brows, peach fuzz. Honestly, the at-home one works just as good. And the thing with laser is you have to be so consistent with it. Oh, might as well have the at-home device. I regret spending money on are expensive water bottles. Every year it's like a new water bottle. Like it used to be Hydro Flask, then it was Stanley, and I was like lucky enough to get a Stanley sent to me, and I actually gave it to my mom because for this city it's just not practical. I actually love my BrewMate. No joke, because it has like a lock component so you can like throw it in your bag. And the last thing I always regret spending my money on is hot take drinks or like cocktails at dinner, because I guess my toxic trait is I'm like, if I'm not going out, what's one cocktail gonna do? Like, don't get me wrong, I love my Aperol spritzes and stuff, but if I'm not going out, I'll either make that at home or get like a Dr. Pepper. That's everything I just would not spend my money on.
How are we expecting people to rent when they have to pay first and last month's rent plus a security deposit? I have a family member, he's not on this app, and he is trying to get into an apartment complex, big corporate-owned apartment complex here in Tampa. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, 800 square feet, $1,600 a month. They have horrible reviews on Google, not a great part of town, but it's what he can afford right now, and you know, it's gonna be, he knows it's a temporary thing. So he asked me if I'd be willing to co-sign on this apartment because this apartment complex is asking for first and last month's rent plus a large security deposit. And I said, no problem. I'd rather you take that money that you would normally have to apply towards the application process to get moved in and instead focus on like buying yourself groceries when you get moved in and having the funds to set up your utilities and all the things. And I went ahead and submitted all the documents that they asked of me, which was 3 months worth of bank statements, our 2023 tax return, as well as copies of contracts and payments made from my clients because I'm a 1099 employee, to show them that basically if for some reason he weren't able to pay his rent, it would default to me, and including my social security number, so they'd come after me. No problem. I trust this family member wholeheartedly and have no issue doing that. So I submitted all those documents and they called him today. And yes, they are still asking for first and last month's rent and they are still requesting a security deposit. They lowered it. But let me just set the stage here. $1,600 a month is the rent. I provided them documentation to show that one of my clients, just one client that pays me in a month, would cover over 12 months of his rent. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying this because this is the level of absurdity we have reached. You have someone that's co-signing to ensure that that apartment is paid for, that has proof, documentation, proof of funds to show that just one of my payments from one of my clients in a month that I provided a contract to show would cover his rent for the entire year. And yet that's not good enough to waive a security deposit or still make him pay first and last month's rent. What are we doing? Like, why are we making Gen Z like not be able to have a place to live? This is absurd. Like, I don't understand why somebody needs to be making over $1 million to show that you could waive the security deposit and not make them pay last month's rent. Like, I essentially showed them collectively that my husband and I make, I'm not going to say how much it is, but it's absurd. Because if he doesn't have a co-signer, like, how do people move into those places then? I don't get it. I don't understand what we're doing to this generation. Then I see a news report that mortgage rates are climbing back up again, 5-month high, 6.85%. I ain't buying in that market unless I can pay cash. So we rent. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that for us. But I'm also 20 years older. Like, and I've already lived, I don't, like, this is stupid at this point. I guess, what is that generation supposed to do if you don't have somebody co-signing for you? How do you expect them to come up with that type of cash for $1,600 a month rent? I don't understand what we're doing here. I don't understand it.
You cannot budget your way out of a bad economy and greed. I just saw a girl on here say her rent is going up from $1,300 to $1,800. Nothing's changing, just a $500 increase because they can do that. And it was so upsetting hearing the anger and frustration in her voice because obviously if she resigns but can't make those monthly payments, she'll be facing eviction and homelessness. But if she chooses to relocate, that's also very expensive because a lot of places want first month, last month, and security deposit, which is oftentimes equivalent to 1 month's rent, which, by the way, rent these days, you're not finding anything under like $1,500. Then you have to pay for your U-Haul if you want to get movers, if you want to move across state lines to hopefully find something cheaper. Like, all of that adds up for one event, and you're looking at $7,000 or more. Now, who has that just sitting around in the bank these days? I would love to know. Tell me your secrets, please. But it's just scary. Even private landlords are being impacted because their property taxes are going up, so now they have to up the rent on their tenants. And I just want to know, where do we all fit in this system? What is the angle here for us? And I hate to say this, but I feel like there is no angle for us other than to be weeded out. We're not in the big picture. Our well-being, our basic human rights, food, shelter, that kind of stuff, that's not on the agenda of these private corporations who are upping the prices on these complexes, or the government and the economy that claim to care about us so much. We're not on their agenda. So like I said in the beginning, it's just scary because no matter how you try to sit there and go over your budget and review your monthly statements and try to stop spending here and stop spending there, you cannot budget your way out of a shitty economy and greed. I don't know. It's scary, but